Thank you for joining us here on The Real World. Make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified of all our videos. If you're a movie fan, you're in the right place. Today we're talking about physical media. Those shelves behind me are full of Blu-rays. Movies on physical media are the best. That's the best way to watch movies, period. I don't care how good your internet is. Streaming movies just isn't the same as putting the disc in the player and pressing play. There's nothing like it. If you haven't tried it, I highly recommend it. So for my birthday, I always ask for movies, and my birthday was in March. I finally got all the movies in. Some of them took a while to get shipped, but they're all here. And so I'm very excited to show you what I received for my birthday. Thank you to all of those who bought me birthday presents. I always ask for movies. It's kind of boring, but it's what I like. So I really appreciate it. We're going to dive right in, and we're going to go by genre. So I've got the collection now organized by genre. My parents got me these awesome little inserts, wood inserts, with genres on them. So I can slide these in the shelf and know what kind of movie I'm going for. Typically, that's how it works. If I want to watch a movie, I want an action movie, or I want a biopic, or I want a musical, or something like that. So I'm glad to have the shelves organized this way. It's a lot of fun. It kind of reminds me of going to a Blockbuster. You know, you go to the action section, or you would go to these different kind of sections of the store, and they would have whatever kind of movie you were looking for there. So this is how I'm organized now. And so that's how we're going to go through the collection. Let's get started with the biopic section. Okay, these are all movies based on a true story. Some of my favorite movies are based on true stories. And so we're going to start off with, in chronological order, Battle Hymn. Battle Hymn is a film that came out back in 1957. It stars Rock Hudson, and it is about a Korean War veteran. The Korean War is known as the Forgotten War because a lot of people know about World War I, World War II, and then typically we jump straight to Vietnam. But right in between there in the 1950s, the Korean War was fought. And this looks to be a really fascinating film. I haven't seen this movie. So this is a blind buy. Kino Lorber put this out. They always do a great job with their Blu-rays. They always look great. They've got some great artwork that they do. And they always have audio commentaries too, which is always fun. You can learn a little bit more about the making of the film that way. So really glad to have this in the collection, and excited to watch it. Next up is The Ballad of Gregorio Cortez. This is from Criterion. This film stars Edward James Olmos. Many people will know for Battlestar Galactica and many other films that he was in. Criterion always does a phenomenal job with their Blu-rays. And this is another one I have not seen. I'm trying to collect all of the Westerns Criterion put out. And so that's my goal. So I'm very close to that goal. My brother Carson helped me a lot inching toward that goal this year. So very excited to have this from 1982, The Ballad of Gregorio Cortez. Next up, a double feature, both featuring Russell Crowe, both directed by Ron Howard, A Beautiful Mind and Cinderella Man. Both movies I'm a huge fan of. Really like this actor, really like this director. Jennifer Connelly is also in A Beautiful Mind, and Renee Zellweger in Cinderella Man, both based on true stories. Again, we're in the biopic section here. And both loaded down with bonus features as well, which I'm really excited about. So a great double feature. If you haven't seen either one of these, I highly recommend both of them. Really excited to have those in the collection. And last but not least in biopics, Martin Scorsese's The Aviator, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, a film about Howard Hughes, one of the most interesting historical figures in American history. Did some amazing things in the world of aviation, as well in the world of filmmaking. He was a filmmaker too. And this one co-stars Cate Blanchett as Katharine Hepburn. So very glad to have this in the collection. It's one of my favorite Scorsese movies. Winner of 5 Academy Awards. And so that one is one to check out. Moving on to drama. This is the next genre that we're going to dive into. The drama genre. There's a lot of different movies that can fall into drama. And so there's a lot of different types of movies here that you maybe say, oh, that's not really a drama. But for me, they kind of land in that drama section because they're a little bit of everything, some of them. Starting off with Cecil B. DeMille's The Greatest Show on Earth. Back in 1952, this was released. It stars Charlton Heston. It also stars James Stewart, Betty Hutton, Dorothy Lamour, Gloria Graham, Cornel Wilde. Huge cast of big actors back in the 1950s. And this is all about the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus. And this is the Paramount Presents line. They put out these really cool editions where it has the slipcover featuring the original poster for the movie and this big drop-down kind of opening here, this little flap they have on the cover. And there you can see the back cover, the spine, and then the Blu-ray is actually in a clear packaging, not a traditional blue packaging, which is a little bit different. And there's the disc and the digital code for whoever would like it. If you can see it, go ahead and take it. If not, I'll do a more detailed breakdown on all of these. But it's got some great artwork inside as well. Very nicely done. Artwork on the disc too. So they do a great job with this Paramount Presents line. I'm a really big fan of this. So I'm really glad to have this. This is one of the earliest films that inspired Steven Spielberg, the first film he saw in theaters. So I'm glad to have that in the collection. Going to move on now to Run Silent, Run Deep. In my opinion, the best submarine film ever made, way back in 1958. All shot in black and white. It stars both Clark Gable and Burt Lancaster. Robert Wise directed this. He's known for The Sound of Music and Star Trek The Motion Picture. He's done some great movies over his career, but this, I think, might be his best movie. And Kino Lorber put this out as well. You see the spine there. Take it out. You have different artwork on the inside, which is really cool. I like that they include alternate artwork. And inside, it's actually reversible, so you can take this out and flip it around. So it has that alternate artwork on the package itself. So really nice edition. This is remastered, and it looks fantastic. So I'm glad to have my favorite submarine movie of all time now in the collection. Now over to Field of Dreams, starring Kevin Costner. This is one of those movies I think just everyone needs to watch. I'm so glad I own it now. It is one of my favorite Kevin Costner films. It's all about dreamers. It's all about the supernatural, and family is really what's at the heart of it. So, big fan of this movie. Very glad that I own it. It has several bonus features I'm excited to dive into as well. And finally, last one for drama is Steven Spielberg's Always. This is a movie I still have not seen, so I'm very excited to watch it, but I haven't put it in the player yet. Richard Dreyfuss, Holly Hunter, John Goodman are all in this movie. And it's one of the very few Spielberg movies I've never seen. He's my favorite director, and I have not yet watched Always. So I'm glad I can finally see this movie. All right, next up is the romance genre. I don't have a lot of romance movies, okay? I'm a dude, all right? It's not my thing necessarily, but there are a couple that I really like, and I wanted to expand it this year. So I added one that I'm a big fan of, The Thomas Crown Affair. Steve McQueen, Faye Dunaway. This is such a great caper. It's such a great sort of cat and mouse type film. Beautiful locations, great actors. Norman Jewison directed this and did a great job. He's got a commentary on here I'm very curious to listen to as well. So very glad to have that one in the collection now. And the other romance film I added was a very unique movie. It could have landed in several different genres, but I put it here because I think the core of the story is this love story. It's The Fountain, starring Hugh Jackman and Rachel Weisz. Both are at their career best here. I mean, they're playing, first of all, they're each playing three different characters over three different time periods, and they're all dealing with this theme of life and death. And it's really, really riveting. It's really interesting. It's a very different type of movie. But man, Darren Aronofsky, this is his best film, I think. He's made some movies I really don't like, but this is easily his best film, I think. It is fantastic. So highly recommend checking out The Fountain if you haven't. All right, jumping over to comedy now. The comedy genre, I think this is such a tough one to get right. to make a movie that really makes people laugh is really difficult because humor is so subjective. What makes one person laugh, someone else might just not care for. So this is a couple of movies that, one that I really like, one I haven't seen. The one I haven't seen is Greta Garbo in Ninotchka. This looks to be really great. I mean, it's got Ernest Lubitsch directing. It's also got Billy Wilder writing the screenplay. He's written some of my favorite movies, Some Like It Hot, The Apartment, Sunset Boulevard. Some great, great classic Hollywood films. So the fact that he's pinning the screenplay here gives me a lot of hope. So very curious to see this. Then the other one is one I've enjoyed so many times. So glad to introduce it to my little ones. It is Babe. George Miller producing this, did a great job also writing it. And then Chris Noonan directed. James Cromwell, one of his best performances. It's got some great effects work in it as well. Just tons of fun, lots of heart. Definitely worth checking out. Babe. Now, the last section here on this side of the shelves is musicals. I did add one musical this year. A musical I'm a huge fan of. I think everyone should see it. It is a great movie called Fiddler on the Roof, based on the stage play. John Williams did the music for this movie and did a great job. It is also directed by Norman Jewison, who directed The Thomas Crown Affair. This is his best film. It's an epic journey we take with this family, and a slew of great performances in it. Great musical numbers. Highly, highly recommend watching Fiddler on the Roof if you haven't seen it. This is the 40th anniversary Blu-ray, and I'm glad it's now in the collection. We're going to move over now to the big one, the big section that I added to on the shelves is the Western section. Westerns are my favorite. I could watch Westerns all day. They're tons of fun. They're exciting. They're exhilarating. They're typically a classic sort of good versus evil battle. But some of these are more just kind of coming-of-age tales, revenge stories about justice. There's all kinds of different things that the Western genre covers. And I'm just a big fan of that era in history. We're going to start with Union Pacific, one I have not seen. But the three things that got me to buy this were Cecil B. DeMille, great director, Greatest Show on Earth, which we just saw earlier, and one of my favorite films of all time, The Ten Commandments, was directed by this guy. And it stars Barbara Stanwyck, great actress, Double Indemnity, many other movies, 40 Guns, The Furies, great Western she was in. And Joel McCrea, who I just think is wonderful in every role he's taken on. This one also has an audio commentary from Kino Lorber. They always do a great job with their releases, so very excited to watch this movie about the Transcontinental Railway. Next up, one of my favorite James Stewart films, Winchester 73. This just came out from Criterion. It hasn't been available on Blu-ray yet, so this is the first time it's been available in high definition. Totally remastered. It looks like a brand new movie. It's absolutely stunning what they're able to do over at Criterion with these great releases. I like the artwork a lot. There's the spine, and then inside, of course, it has a booklet with an essay on the movie. And wow, this is stunning what they were able to do here. Again, it looks like a brand new movie. It's one of my favorite Westerns ever because it's such a unique film, and it follows the titular weapon that he's holding there, the Winchester 73, the gun that tamed the West, is what it was dubbed. And Shelley Winters is great here. Rock Hudson shows up. Tony Curtis even in an early role for him. Anthony Mann and Jimmy Stewart worked on a lot of Westerns together, and this I think is their best. So very glad to have that one in the collection. Just watched this the other day, Cattle Drive. I had never seen it before, but again, Joel McCrea I really like. And this film is really interesting because it is very much a coming-of-age story about him and this young man on this cattle drive, kind of showing him the ropes, quite literally. This came out back in 1951. And again, Kino Lorber did a great job with this release, so I'm very glad that is in the collection now. Next up, Horizons West. Another one I have not seen, but a director I really like, Bud Boetticher, did some great films with Randolph Scott, The Tall T and Comanche Station, and a lot of others. So I'm a big fan of him as a director. And you got Rock Hudson again, who again was in Battle Hymn, one of the films we looked at earlier, and a slew of other great actors like Julie Adams, Raymond Burr, Dennis Weaver, Judith Braun. Really glad to have this. This came out back in 1952. And again, this is from Kino Lorber. They put out some great old westerns. If you're looking for some old westerns on Blu-ray, they're the place to go. Next one, also from Kino, is The Lonely Man. Wow, this one blew me away. I had not seen this. As soon as I got it, this is one of the first ones I put in because I was so curious about it. Jack Palance and Anthony Perkins, two actors I really like. Anthony Perkins, of course, from Psycho. I just saw him last year in a western called The Tin Star with Henry Fonda. Big fan of that. And this is great too. This is very much in the same vein as Shane and Unforgiven. Sort of a gunslinger who wants to change his ways, reconnect with his son, but his son blames him for all the things that's gone wrong in his life. And it's a great story about forgiveness and redemption. This is the slipcover edition, so it does have the slipcover there. And then there's the disc. Very nicely done. Really, really glad I own this one. This is one that, if you haven't seen, it's one that I haven't really heard a lot about, and I think it's well worth watching. Next up, Samuel Fuller's 40 Guns, starring Barbara Stanwyck, who we were just talking about a second ago. This is a great film. Really had a great time watching this. I had just seen this for the first time as soon as I got it. This was one of the first ones I watched. Criterion put this out. Did a great job with this Blu-ray edition. Next up, One-Eyed Jacks. The only film directed by Marlon Brando, who also stars in the movie. Criterion put this one out as well. Did a great job with it. Looks really good. As far as the packaging goes, I have not put it in the player yet. I have not watched it, but I think I'm going to like it because the 60s was an interesting era. This came out in 61 for Westerns. Also in the 60s, 68, Kill Them All and Come Back Alone, starring none other than the rifleman himself, Chuck Connors. This is a spaghetti Western. I'm a big fan of spaghetti Westerns. Sort of the genre went through a big change in the 60s, and this is sort of what came out of Europe after Clint Eastwood made his Man with No Name trilogy. And very interested to see this. Have not seen it yet, but Kino Lorber put this out, and I know they always do a good job, so very much looking forward to seeing that. Another one I haven't seen is The Gray Fox. Came out back in the 80s. 82 this was released. Kino Lorber put this Blu-ray edition out, and another one I haven't watched, but I'm very much looking forward to it. Again, seems like that sort of aging kind of outlaw wants to reform his life type of a story. And it takes place around the turn of the century in 1901, which is another interesting thing about it, that its kind of setting is a little bit different than some of the Westerns which take place more in the 1860s to 1890s. Then the final one of the most unique Westerns, Dead Man by Jim Jarmusch. This is such an interesting filmmaker. He made so many great movies, very unique style. This is all black and white, but it was made back in 1995. Stars Johnny Depp, and Robert Mitchum shows up in this one as well. So it's well worth checking out. If you're looking for a kind of offbeat Western, something that's a little different, this is certainly one you should watch. It's not like your typical Western. It's very just artistic and creative, and has a lot of different kind of elements to it than what you're typically used to with most Westerns. So check out Dead Man if you haven't. That's it for the Westerns. It's a lot there, but I'm a big Western fan, so I'm glad I have all of those in the collection now. Let's move on to crime. Crime films are, of course, very interesting. Movies about cops and robbers and killers and psychological films, thrillers would all kind of go under this genre here. So the first one I have is Alfred Hitchcock's Strangers on a Train. This might be the most underrated Hitchcock movie. I would put it up there with North by Northwest and Rear Window and Psycho as being one of his best movies. It's got some great performances in it. It's really intense, really exciting, and this Blu-ray edition is really cool. They did a great job with it. You got some disc art there. You got some bonus features as well. So if you haven't seen Strangers on a Train, check this out, especially if you're a Hitchcock fan. And then the other crime film I added was the Coen brothers' Fargo. This movie is one of the best dark comedies ever made. It is so much fun. It's funny, but it's, again, it got this really tense story as well. Great actors here, William H. Macy and Steve Buscemi and Peter Stormare and, of course, Frances McDormand. Definitely worth checking out if you're a Coen Brothers fan, if you like their sensibilities as far as the way they shoot things. Roger Deakins shot this, one of the greatest cinematographers of all time. Then I think you're going to get a lot out of this. So that's it for crime. Now we're going to move over to action. I added a couple of action movies that I'm a big fan of to the collection. One, I'm just a huge fan of the Jackie Chan Hong Kong stuff. And I own both Police Story and Police Story 2, but I didn't have Police Story 3. So I got Police Story 3 Super Cop, as it's known here in the U.S., starring both Jackie Chan and Michelle Yeoh, both still working today. This is an action extravaganza. It's also very funny, as many of Jackie Chan's films are, and this Blu-ray edition is outstanding, packed full of bonus features and some great artwork. It's got reversible artwork that you can switch around. It's got the original Hong Kong poster as well as some new artwork for the Blu-ray. So I always like it when they include those little things. That makes it worthwhile for me as a collector to add them when they have those kind of little things that they add in. And then I also added the latest Mission Impossible film, Dead Reckoning. This movie, I just had to complete the Mission collection because it's a really solid action movie. It's not my favorite Mission movie, but I am going to rewatch it because I think on rewatch I'm going to like it more. I just didn't think it had all of the great elements that the previous couple films had as far as the story goes. The stunts and the whole look of the movie, the action is all phenomenal. It's top notch. But I'm really curious to check this out. And of course, The Final Reckoning will be in theaters very soon. So I'm going to do a rewatch of all those in the coming weeks. All right, just a couple sections left here. First up is fantasy. The fantasy section is interesting. It's typically, more films focused on magic and that kind of stuff. I also included comic book superhero movies under this banner, although they could go under sci-fi. But I decided to include these in the fantasy realm. And so the two comic book movies I got, two that I didn't have before. This one I don't remember fondly, but my brother Carson says I need to rewatch it. So I got Ang Lee's Hulk from 2003, starring Eric Bana, Jennifer Connelly, Sam Elliott, and Nick Nolte. Very curious to revisit this. Haven't seen it, I think, really since it came out, or maybe just a couple of years after it came out. I watched it on DVD, and just didn't really remember liking it that much. But I know it's got some interesting psychological elements, some interesting camera work and editing choices. So I'm very much looking forward to watching this again with a more open mind and see if I like it more this time. And of course, I had to get Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. I'm a huge fan of the Turtles. And this latest iteration was so different and so much fun, so funny. The animation style is so unique and just interesting to watch. This movie is a blast. If you have not seen it, you've got to check it out. It is just hijinks and action and excitement, and it tells a really compelling story, too, about these four brothers and their place in the world. I'm a really big fan of these characters. They mean a lot to me because I come from a family of four brothers. I'm the oldest, and so I've always had a special place in my heart for the Turtles, and I'm always curious to see the new iteration of them on the big screen. And I've got all their other movies, so I had to, again, complete the Turtle collection, and this movie did that for me. So, awesome. Now we're moving on to sci-fi, the final section here. Sci-fi. I'm a huge science fiction fanatic. I read sci-fi books, Jules Verne being, one of my favorite authors of all time, and I'm a huge fan of sci-fi films. I grew up on Star Wars. I've now gotten into Star Trek and all kinds of other things. So let's talk about these briefly. H.G. Wells' The Time Machine, the 1960 version, the original, I think is the best. I like the new one, but I think the original is still the best. It tells its story very concisely, very compelling in its characterization, and the effects are also outstanding, especially for the time. So I think this is one of the best time travel stories ever told, and I would highly recommend it to anyone who's interested in science fiction or time travel stories. It is essential. So that is one I had to add to the collection. I'm very glad it's in the collection now. Jumping over to the 90s, 1998, Soldier, starring Kurt Russell, Paul W.S. Anderson, who's gone on to do Resident Evil and Monster Hunter and all these other movies that are they're fine. They're fine kind of schlocky action films. But this is his best movie. It's his first film, and I think the story's so good. It's written by the same guy who wrote Blade Runner, David Peoples. Man, he knocked it out of the park. And Kurt Russell, his performance here is so good. It's one of his best roles I think he's ever played. And he only speaks about 104 lines, so it's just all physicality. And he really pulls it off. It's a great sci-fi action movie. If you're looking for fun sci-fi action, look no further than Soldier. Next up, I had to get this. Technically a double dip. You know, it's a movie I already had, but technically I didn't have it because this is Mad Max Fury Road Black and Chrome Edition. This is the black and white version of Fury Road. Also includes the color version, so it's a 2-disc edition. But man, this is something else. If you haven't experienced Fury Road in black and white, you are in for a treat. This is a totally different movie. I mean, it feels so different, but yet the same. It enhances the film, I think, immensely, even though the color's great. The black and white strips that away, and man, it just delivers something totally different. So, highly recommend this. If you're a fan of Fury Road, as many people are, because it is one of the best movies ever made. George Miller prefers the black and white, and he's got an introduction where he talks about why he prefers the black and white. I've got to agree with him after rewatching it. Wow, it blew me away again. So check it out if you haven't checked it out. Black and Chrome, Fury Road is the way to go. All right, last but not least, the latest in the Predator franchise, Prey. This movie is something else. This, I think, is the best Predator movie. It's right there with the original. It is so well done. It is so unique and so much fun. Definitely check this out if you haven't. It is on Hulu, I believe. And this Blu-ray, though, has some bonus features about audio commentary, panel with the cast and crew, a making of, behind the scenes featurette, and an audio track featuring the entire film in the Comanche language. So if you want to get really authentic with it, you can watch the Comanche version. And yeah, I was just blown away by this. I was so excited about it, and it lived up to my expectations. Very curious to see where the Predator franchise goes from here, but this movie is definitely one of the best. So that's it. That's the entire collection on Blu-ray. Wow, a big haul. One of the biggest hauls that I've ever gotten for my birthday, and I am so thankful for everyone for getting me these movies. Adding them to the collection as always brings me joy to see the museum of film grow that I'm curating here. Thank you again so much. Let's talk about these movies. Which one was your favorite? Do you have a favorite of these? Which one are you curious about watching that you haven't seen? And which one do you want to add to your collection? Let me know in the comments below. Be happy to have a conversation with you about cinema. Thank you again so much. Make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified of all our videos, and we'll see you next time right here on The Real World.